GMGM guys, hope everyone can hear me. Okay, your other speaker is having network issues. I'm trying to see if I can reach out to him, but he's having some network issues. All right, so for those just joining, feel free to share the link, like, and also subscribe. Then you can start dropping your questions. I'm trying to see if I can rectify the network issue that the other speaker is having. All right, well, you should be joining soon. All right, so you should be joining soon. All right, guys, GMGM. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. So we're seeing a bit of green in the markets today, which is a bit expected because of what I explained yesterday. But before I jump to that, let's look at the market today. Now, if you notice, there's something I always say. I don't know if you guys are taking note of this, but it's very, very important. And what I always say is pay attention to the coins that we cover fast. Those coins that to recover. Pay attention. Can you guys hear me clearly? Please, any comments will be enough. Can you guys hear me clearly? You can leave a comment just to be certain that you guys can hear me clearly. Still waiting for Achilles to join. All right, let's proceed to the joins. Yeah, so there's something I always emphasize on, which is pay attention to. Okay, he's just joining now. And GMGM Achilles.
Jam, jam.
Hope you can, yeah, hope you can hear us.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so there's something I always emphasize on. If we notice there's a bit of green, before we jump to the chart, I always emphasize on something. Whenever the market gets like a relief bounce, which I spoke about yesterday, that I'll be expecting a bit of relief bounce. Whenever the market gets that, pay attention to the coins that recover fastest. Get pay attention to those coins. For example, virtual. If you guys noticed, virtual always tends to recover very fast. Very, very fast. Also, another thing, if you guys pay attention, you notice that virtual is still very close to the price it was at November last year. I think still close to around 70 cents, something like that. Still very close to that price. And virtual tends to recover very, very fast. So what that means is if BTC does like a 10K pump in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, or there come a time where BTC does like a good reasonable pump and we see a run of like from like 65K to maybe 75, 80K. What that means is project like virtual will easily do 40%, 50% pump. That is what it means. And if you notice, virtual has been very, very consistent in its recovery. So these are like some things you're supposed to pay attention to. You mark those projects, write them down. Soul also tries to recover fast. It also tries, but not so much. It depends on if it is sitting on the support or if it is facing the resistance. So the Soul usually tries to go. Virtual has been very, very consistent when you talk about recovery. Another that tends to recover a bit fast is Dash. Dash also tries to recover a bit fast too. And there are a few others. LTC is very slow to recover, very, 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 very slow to recover. SU, it depends. Sometimes it recovers really fast. Sincerely, sometimes SU recovers really fast. But since it went below $1, we haven't really seen that fast recovery. get, because it's now below a major support. So it's below that, and that support is now serving as resistance. So that is why. So the summary here is pay attention to projects that recover very fast, so that when the market shows signs of bump, you can aggressively accumulate those projects, yet, so that you can be able to make profits faster. Now, if you guys also notice something, you'll find out that based on this little bounce the market had, the coins that were up yesterday didn't really benefit from it, like Decreed and then Peeping that was up as at yesterday, they did not really benefit from it. So that's another thing to note, because most persons would offload those bags and move funds to other projects that are expecting to make more money short term. Zcash is another. I longed Zcash yesterday from around, I think, 235 to around 247. That's why I exited. It's based on trailing stop loss. That's why I exited. So, and it's got back again to my entry 235 again this early morning, which I just entered another long again on Zcash since I've exited the first position. So you want to pay attention when we noticed, or I noticed, that BTC bounce. I started speculating that we're going to rally up to the previous most recent order block, which I'm about to share my charts now to show you guys that. So immediately I had to swing to start looking for longs. I had to swing to start looking for longs. I came up with a few longs, but I only took about two of them. Let me share the chart briefly. Hope you can see my Hope you can see the chart. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yesterday, when I noticed this resistance from BTC here, it didn't close below this level. We looked at this analysis yesterday. I was waiting for it to break above this zone, which eventually it did. I had to now start looking at altcoins, and I knew the next place to face the resistance will be here, and later on, invariably here. But at the same time, I knew that there's a tendency for BTC to rally all the way to about 70K, to rally all the way to around 70K. Yeah, this zone. There's a tendency for BTC to rally all the way to this zone, which I told you guys yesterday that I expect to see a relief bounce. I'm actually expecting to see a relief bounce. We've seen it. Now, you guys know once we start approaching Friday, like Thursday, Friday, we tend to start getting bearish again. So, whatever you're doing, keep in mind that as we're approaching Friday, probably tomorrow afternoon or thereabout, expect to see some bearish signs. If it doesn't happen, then it's one of those weekends that it didn't happen. But most often, 7 out of 10 times, you'll most likely get that bearish move once we're approaching weekend. So immediately I saw this upward move by this time yesterday. We had not gotten to this price yesterday. I think we got to this price midnight. I was asleep. But when I slept, I think we're somewhere here when I slept on BTC. Or somewhere here, which was why I applied trailing stop loss for the trades that I took around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I had to apply trailing stop loss before sleeping. I think I applied that around 10 before sleeping, because I was not certain if BTC was going to come back here before it goes up. You can't predict these things. Anybody that tells you that they can predict it, the person is just lying. You can't. We had already met an order block here as at yesterday evening, 7, 8 or thereabout. We had met an order block here. So BTC was facing that resistance. It was one of two things. Either it comes back here to gather momentum and then it sends off, or it can be able to force its way to get above this zone without necessarily getting back to this point. And it's night. I was about sleeping, so you have to practice proper risk management, apply trailing stop loss, or move your SL to protect profits, which was what I did for the trades I took, especially the Zcash one. I had to do that. So let me open that Zcash trade. So fantastic. Zcash is moving well again. Yeah, so this was the Zcash trade I took yesterday evening. I took this trade yesterday evening. Now, once it got to somewhere here, it got to 46, I had to apply that trading stop loss. And I know my SL, I moved it to 42. I moved my SL to, I think, was it 42 or thereabouts? That was where I moved it to 42. Now, by the time I woke up this morning, I noticed that it had taken me out around 46, something like that, yeah, around 46. But I noticed it still went all the way up before 250. But I wasn't really bothered because you can't really catch most of those stuffs. So it took me out around 46. That was where it took me out. But then again, it was back to my entry, and I got back in again for this Zcash trade because I noticed that BTC was still on the move. Now the other trade I drew analysis for was SEO. Drew analysis for SEO versus SEO. So it's pretty simple. This was midnight. SEO ran all the way to this point, midnight. Then as BTC dumped, you get it wasn't like BTC did a serious dump by the way. It was just a small dump BTC did. But that shows you how volatile the market is, how altcoins can be at times like this. Just a small correction BTC did midnight. See how much soon it dumped. It dumped back to like this entry to fill this full fair value gap. So I did the analysis this morning as I woke up and I got in on SEO. So I'm still on this SEO trade actually this morning. Got in on SEO. Then I drew on Gigo. I think Gigo was last night, but I didn't get in on it because I wasn't certain of what BTC would do. So before sleeping, I drew this on Gigo, but I did not take this trade. This was what I drew on Gigo before sleeping. But I didn't. Why? Like I said, where BTC was, it was looking like BTC was here. Let me see. No, I think BTC was somewhere here. I think somewhere here. This was where BTC was. It was facing this other block. So I wasn't certain of what would happen, and I was not about to stay awake looking at BTC price because anyway you look at it, BTC controls what those altcoins will do. I've said this several times. So despite the fact that that Gigo trade, the entry looked good, I wasn't certain of what BTC would do. BTC was already here. If maybe I got that entry while BTC was here, I would have taken the trade, which was the case of Zcash. BTC was here when I got Zcash entry. So that's why I took the Zcash trade because BTC was still moving towards this point. So still somewhere around here. But for the for the Gigo, I got that entry when BTC was here. Now it's just this minor dump BTC did from 64 600 to 67 800. That's what dumped Gigo like this. That's what dropped Gigo from this my supposed entry. I didn't take the trade by the way. From this my supposed entry to this point. Yes, it didn't hit the SL. It wouldn't have hit SL, but yeah, now you get why I didn't take the trade yet. And this morning, I woke up this morning and I saw it. It had dropped back to somewhere here when I woke up this morning. It was already moving. I just left it. I don't take too many trades. I was already on Zcash, the fresh trade, and Sui. So no need to load too many trades. So the point of what I'm trying to explain here is you need to trade following the trend. I think I also draw on cake. I think so. Yeah. I also draw on cake. Exactly. I did, but I didn't take this trade. Also draw on cake, but I didn't take this trade. So for cake, it was simple. I was expecting cake to break above this zone. I was looking at it yesterday night, but I didn't bother taking because of where BTC was at. So the aim was if cake goes above this level, it bounces off from this support and it continues. That's the whole idea of this trade I drew here. But if it breaks above this level, it was last night. If it was somewhere here yesterday night, somewhere here. If it breaks above this level, it bounces off, then it continues. But I did not take this cake trade, by the way. I didn't. So most altcoins, they are moving. I think, did I draw for AIX? No, I don't think so. I think this one had already moved fast. So most of this, I think I was looking at AVAX, or I didn't come up with anything for AVAX. So most times you can catch some little pumps from the market if you're able to use Bitcoin as an indicator. get very important. If you're able to use BTC as an indicator, once you watch what Bitcoin is doing, most times you might not even trade Bitcoin. Me personally, I didn't trade Bitcoin. I didn't take any long or whatever or short on Bitcoin. Nothing. I didn't take any long or short on Bitcoin. But because of what BTC was doing already, I could anticipate and use the chart to decide my entry point on what some of these altcoins were going to do. I could actually do that. I didn't trade Apex. I didn't even look for a position on Apex. Instead, it's a short position that I was anticipating for Apex when it gets to its previous resistance. So, actually, what do you think? What do you think? After we look at our gold trade from yesterday, oh yeah, that reminds me, I'm also on a gold trade. That reminds me, our gold trade yesterday, it triggered and it failed. This is it. It triggered and it failed, but I was able to jump in again. So this was the gold trade we took yesterday. We just set it and we left it. So it triggered and it failed and it came all the way back to the support to clear like this full fair value gap. Now immediately it closed above this support level and it went up. I had to like scout for another entry, almost at a similar place from the previous trade that failed. And so I had to scout for another entry. And the SL, I still maintained the same stop loss. I still maintain the same stop loss with this one. The only thing is I got a better entry, not this high, but it was lower. I maintained the same SL, and this is the trade for gold. So this is something that happened pretty fast. It was quite fast. I just had to like set it and leave it, so it wasn't posted in the channel. Basically, it wasn't. Yeah. So actually, what do you think so far so good about
All right.
BTC price action? Going to?
Okay.
Do you
All
think
right.
we're going to go to? Do you think we're going to stop here because we're facing a minor resistance here? Do you think we're going to stop here, or do you think we're going to go higher? What are your expectations?
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're sharing your screen, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not sharing my
Yes,
screen
yes.
right
You're sharing your screen, right? I can hear you.
now. Okay. I'm not
Okay,
sharing my
okay. We can
screen
hear
now.
you.
Okay. What I think about the BTC. I'm actually happy that we are going up. I'm really happy that we are going up because with more upside, bring kind of an opportunity to short more. But if there is no
Yes.
upside, we might be very confused on our entry. So more upside, we are going to be more clear on where we're going to enter, so that we can actually short more. So I'm actually very hyped or kind of happy that Bitcoin is going up. Uh, so right now, I'm actually feeling that I have the feeling that we might actually break this first. From this your screen that you're sharing now. The first one we might actually, I feel like we might actually go be above that. Then okay, let me just share my
Yeah.
screen. Let me share my screen. Okay,
Okay.
screen.
We'll take questions soon.
Okay, it's my screen live. Oh,
Yeah, your screen is up.
okay. So my main entry was enter around this place. Find a short here. But at a point, I'm starting to think that we might actually pass there. We might actually go above here to target this particular place. This is my main target here. From here to actually probably here. So even though that the entry and the stop loss might actually be big.
Yeah.
I'm actually targeting this whole area. Wait, oh my god. Okay, so this whole area will be my main entry. That is where I wanted to start shorting this Bitcoin down back again to around 60,000. But we might actually pass here. But I'm just going to keep an eye this at this range. But my main range is at 67. That is where I feel like that's where we even have a very strong downward movement. So I'm feeling like, yeah, around this range should be my main target. But anyway, we're going to still be looking at this place. But the thing is that what I feel like we might pass this place is that Fridays, Friday every morning, we normally see crypto or the market going up, especially morning and afternoon. So it can start going down at night. And this one is kind of surges so far, like it's pumped so fast that that's why I feel like it might clear this to touch this before going down. So 67 is my target, but meanwhile, um keeping an eye here. So I'm very happy that this market is going there because if not, I would have missed it. I would have started looking for where to take my next position. So that is it for me on you know on the market today, on what I'm actually watching today. So just keep an eye. But I don't feel like today is Wednesday. Market actually maybe in the evening. It normally goes down in the evening on Wednesdays. But Thursday and Friday before 5, it goes up. So for now, let's push. I didn't actually trade anything yesterday because I waited for this particular this trade yesterday. It didn't happen. I wanted to short from here, but at a point I said, let me just leave it till let me target this place. For yesterday, I didn't trade, and today I might just keep watching to know my next move. So
Yeah.
that is it for me today.
All right. So let me just briefly explain something for the benefit of those watching. You can actually learn from this. For those watching, you can learn from this. It's very, very important. So you need to have a trading strategy. I know sometimes, yeah, we share trades and all, but you should be able to come up with most of these trades yourself. So you should have like trading strategy. You don't need to complicate it. You can keep things very, very simple. Your strategy can be trend based, where you trade when there's a clearly defined trend, either uptrend or downtrend. Now, for crypto traders, for those that trade crypto, it's kind of easier. For those that trade crypto, it's easier. So why do I say it's easier for those that trade crypto? Is because when Bitcoin is pumping, you know that alts will start pumping. When Bitcoin is dumping, you know that alts will start dumping. So it's kind of like easier. The only challenge now is picking the right altcoin to long or the right altcoin to short or knowing where to get in or what to look for. That's the only challenge. Now, looking at Dash, let me use Dash now as an example. BTC starts pumping yesterday, and I know Dash was hanging on at $31. We spoke about it on Monday. Today is Wednesday. We spoke about it on Tuesday, rather. Dash was just hanging at 31 $32, if you guys recall yesterday, because of BTC. Even when BTC was going all the way down to 62,800, Dash was still holding the support, which you guys already know. Now, immediately Bitcoin starts pumping, Dash took off immediately. I didn't catch Dash because it was quite fast, and then I jumped on two other trades. I tried to not take too many trades based on risk management. I try not to take too many trades. Even if there are 10 different setups, I can just take two, at most three. I try not to take too many. It's just my own risk management per se. Now, when you go back to BTC chart and you notice that BTC is still going up, targeting maybe a particular support that is running to, let's say this is Bitcoin chart, is targeting here, and maybe it's just somewhere here. And you look at Dash, for example, and Dash has not yet lifted, it's still down. It's simple. You can pick your entry and you know the next place that Dash is going to. Pick like a support level or other block, anyone you want to call it. You pick your entry and you target the closest other block. Some persons, they will not trade. They'll wait for it to start moving. Then they'll wait for a retracement, like what we saw here, before they move. And sometimes that retracement can be caused by BTC retracement too. Some other times, not BTC retracement. BTC can still be pumping aggressively, but other odds are doing their own thing, retracing, retracing, moving. So the simple catch here is, as long as BTC is bullish, either it wants to be bullish for 6 hours or 1 day or 2 days, whichever, you rush down to an altcoin that you understand its structure and you pick your entry. You wait for a run, a correction, then you pick your entry. Either you're picking a breaker block or you're picking an order block, whichever, you pick your entry. You can simply trade continuation. This is like continuation. What just happened here is continuation. It has already started moving and it's corrected, and somebody gets in somewhere around here with a stop loss below here and target this point. Get it straightforward. So what it does is if you come to the chart and you find out that nothing is happening, the market is boring, Bitcoin is just there, it's not going up or down, it's just there. You can just choose to wait. Now this is like a 1 to 6. 1 to 6. If you get in somewhere here and you target your SL and you target just this point, 1 to 6. Keep it very, very simple. You can easily pick up trades. Now note you're trading based on BTC brief pump and you're following this short trend, not overall trend. Now, if you want to take it a bit further and you want to look at proper market structure, this does not mean that Dash is now bullish. For Dash to become bullish, Dash needs to go above 36 because this is the most recent lower high we had that gave us this low here. So Dash needs to go above this level for this chart to flip and we say, oh wow, Dash is going up, it's about going to $50 or 60, whatever. It has to go above this level. That is why it will never make sense you're going to target this level, that is where you want to take your profit. Is it possible? Yes, but logically it doesn't make sense to come and target all the way to this level. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Just doesn't make any sense. Ideally, you target this point. If it goes above it, you can keep extending your TP while also adjusting your SL. You can easily do that. So that's how you approach the market. If you notice with cake, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You wait for a breakout, and cake actually did breakout. Retracement, you get in at that retracement zone, you put your SL. Some persons can take their SL to as low as this point. Some persons can actually do that. And your TP is at this level. Still gives you a decent 1 to 5. It still gives you a decent 1 to 5. You have to trade with logic. It's not guesswork. Even when you look at the Zcash trade that I took, it's still the same thing. Like it's literally still the same thing. For the Zcash, I was very, very conservative. So ideally my SL is supposed to be somewhere here. SL is supposed to be somewhere here, but I was very conservative, so I took it all the way down, which was why I took my TP this high, because I know that Zcash tends to swing like a lot, and the last time Zcash took off to 3 something, I think it got to 330, yes, it was from this zone that we're in right now. It was from this zone. So that's why I took my TP this high. But even at that, I still made sure to protect profit at 1 to 1. I still made sure to do that. So you have to apply logic. For Virtual, I didn't catch it. Virtual moved too fast. Like Virtual literally moved too fast. When I checked it, it was already flying. So you can see how Virtual moved like very, very fast. As at 6, 7 in the evening, it was already above 60 cents. It just did a little bit of correction and it moved. So even with the BTC dump that happened at night, that small dump, Virtual was not moved by that. It just continued moving aggressively. And I think now it's okay. So now it's above this zone. So for someone that caught Virtual, the person's TP will be somewhere here. That's where the person's TP will be, somewhere here. So if you look at even Virtual, the structure, you find that Virtual is trying to flip to being bullish, the structure, because it has broken above this zone, and it did that the last time. The last time we saw a relief bounce around the second week of February, I think that was the time it went above this zone. So for Virtual structure, it's actually flipping to be kind of like bullish. That's looking at Virtual. If you go to 4 hours time frame, you see it clearly. 4 hours time frame, you see it clearly. You can see it very clearly. It broke out, came back, and had to clear all this liquidity and took off from this zone all the way up. So Virtual is looking very, very good. like really, really, really good. It might even still continue to as high as 85 or 90 cents. It's very, very possible. But yeah, I hope you guys get my point. You need to trade with logic. Trade with logic. You don't just trade randomly, and you can pick this trades yourself. You can actually pick it yourself. So let's take questions before we round up. Someone is saying the resistance spoke about on gold was tested yesterday. Yes, yes. That resistance was tested. Liquidity there was cleared, and we move up from there. I guess we are not going below that in a couple of months now. Couple of months, that seems long. Couple of months seems long. But the good thing is that resistance was tested and that liquidity there was taken. Couple of months, I can't say. I can't say about if we're not going to come down again for months. I can't really say about that. But what I do know is this zone has actually been effectively tested. Yesterday we didn't test it really. This was yesterday. We did not really test it on Monday rather. We didn't. It was yesterday we actually tested it well. And the good thing is, if you notice, we closed above it. We closed above it. This just targeted people's stop loss, took most people out because most persons will have their SL slightly below this support level. Most people, that's where their SL, including us, the SL was slightly below, or for some persons just on top of it. So it cleared all of that stop loss orders that were there, and immediately it took off. Like immediately it took off. So I can't say for certain that we're going to all the way pump to new all-time high. No, 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 I can't say that for certain. Gold can still come down. Gold can still come down. But this support so far has proved to be very, very solid. I think that's all. We'll be taking eyes on BTC. I'll be hunting for shorts on BTC from like if I see signs of weakness. Let me just open the Bitcoin chart briefly. If I see signs of weakness on BTC, just based on what actually said too, we love to see these pumps because they give us good opportunities to short. That's the whole idea. They give us very good opportunities to short. So if you look at BTC, you see this long candle yesterday. We saw like a huge spike midnight yesterday. We saw that, and after which it retraced a bit. So this spike is showing you clearly that there are sell orders here. There are lots of sell. People want to sell off from here. You might still make an attempt again, second time, maybe a third time. But if we're unable to go past it, it's going to just lead to move. There's no two ways about that. It's going to dump. The pro trend now for Bitcoin is downtrend. The pro trend. I'm still very interested in this zone though. Still very interested in this zone to see how BTC would react once it gets here. I'm still very, very, very interested. So I'll be keeping my eyes on BTC charts. But another reason why I look at Bitcoin is to know how to trade alts. So if Bitcoin starts dumping, I'll easily search for some altcoins that have pumped real good and just short them. It makes things easier most times. Makes things way, way, way easier most times. All right, guys. So I think that's all we're taking for today. And see you guys same time tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye bye.
All right.